Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer, the only board game review show that for 7 seasons played Ensign Wesley Crusher on Star Trek: The Next Generation. Actually, there was one other show that did that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is a paid preview for a brand new game called Battleborn Legacy. Battleborn Legacy is a new game designed by Eric Bartlett and John Hughes. You may remember as the director of 16 Candles, Home Alone. What? What's that? Different. Okay, it's a different John Hughes. I'm sorry, forget that. Anyway, Battleborn Legacy is a new game that is kind of an area control light war game with a heavy fantasy theme, but also incorporates some other fun and unique mechanics. So let me just tell you really quick about this game. Now, first of all, it's for 2 to 4 players, and you can play a kind of a 2-on-2 game with 4 players. You can play just kind of a free-for-all amongst all of the players. Now, how the game works is at the very beginning of the game, you're going to select, first of all, a hero. And there's different heroes in this game, and each of these heroes has specific abilities and unique things that they can do that make them really valuable and really important in the game. Next, you're going to choose a race, and there are 4 different races in the game. There's elves, there's dwarves, there's orcs, and there are goblins. And again, they too each have some unique characteristics throughout the game. They also start on different terrains. Now, once you've selected a hero and a race, we call this a race alliance. And what you're going to do with your race alliance is try to gain the most victory points on the board, and you do that in different ways. You gain victory points by conquering your enemies in battle, by completing quests and some of the discovery cards that'll come up. There's all sorts of fun and unique ways you can get points in this game. Now, as far as the board goes, it is divided up into various provinces that are made up of different spaces. Now, each of these spaces has a different color. And some of them are grouped together. Some spaces are only 1 of one color. Sometimes they're 2 of one color. Sometimes they're 3 of one color. And it's that color grouping that makes them a province. Now, if you capture just one space by itself, you get 1 victory point. If you capture all 3 spaces of 3 of the same color, then you get 3 victory points. But you got to capture all 3 to get any victory points. So after you've selected your race alliance, what you're going to do is put together your army. You start with certain units. You have skirmishers, you have melees, you have bowmen. Some of these are unique to your race, and then others are mercenaries that you can buy later and add. So, for instance, if you are the elves and you have bowmen, you can't buy any of the mercenary bowmen. You just have to use the bowmen that are from your race. But you can buy skirmishers, you can buy melee, and you can also buy some unique units like catapults and knights throughout the game. Now, what's cool about this game is you're going to be able to track all your information on these really cool cards. They have little pegs, and you can put the pegs next to like your hero health or to determine how strong your units are. And so it's kind of a fun way to keep track of some of the information you need in this game. The first thing you can do on your turn is you can heal a hero or repair a fortification. Essentially, you can, for free, just heal a hero, move him up 1 strength point if he was damaged. Also, you can repair for 1 gold one of your fortresses if it has been damaged in the game. Now, the Rune Blessing phase is really cool. You're going to roll a Battleborn die. This is a really big die. And you're going to roll it, and it's got either swords on it, it's got scrolls on it, or maybe it's got gold on it. And what you're going to do is you're going to match those items to any territories that you hold. And if you hold some of those territories with those symbols, you're going to get certain rewards. You may get more units. You may get gold. You may be allowed to draw a red discovery card. And these are cool. These are quests. These are other fun ways that you can gain points or some other advantages that you can use during the game. So that's very cool. Next, you can purchase units and build forts, and then you can actually begin your movement phase. Now, you can move units that are already part of your army. Now, typically, you're going to start the game not only with your main army that is attached to your hero, but you'll also have a knight on another part of the board. Now, these units can move into the same colored territories as what you start with, and there are already some of your units there, but you cannot yet activate them unless you do a diplomatic movement. And diplomatic movement is simply moving your army or moving your knight in there and essentially adding that army to your own. Now that army is activated, it can fight with you, it can move, it can do whatever you want it to do. You can also engage in a combat movement, and essentially this is moving your army, moving your knight, moving your individual units into spaces with opposing units. Now these can either be provincial battles, meaning these can just be units that are out there by themselves, or they can belong to other players. And combat, when it goes down, is pretty straightforward. Essentially, you're rolling dice. You want high rolls in this game. The higher, typically, the better, and you can actually see stats on most of your units that'll say, you know, you need to roll this for attack, you need to roll this for defense, and it's kind of a roll-off, it's kind of a dice chucker, but it's fun, and there's going to be things that are going to mitigate combat, too. For instance, your hero may mitigate some of the things in combat. Some of the cards you have, the discovery cards you pick up, they may, in some ways, mitigate combat, so there's that, too. Both players will have options to retreat, but once the battle is done, if the attacker was successful in conquering that territory, he not only gets a victory point for it, he also will get a discovery card, a blue discovery card. And blue discovery cards are great because they can help you with a lot of stuff too. They can give you quests and other ways for you to gain points in the game. Next, some basic steps. You can do non-combat movement. You can place those units and structures you bought at the beginning of your turn. And then you're going to, of course, collect income. You're going to collect your income from the various spaces you control on the board. And you're also going to collect resources from those areas where you put those artisan units. You're going to get the resources. And that's important because in order to buy stuff, you're going to need some of those resources. Now we come to a very cool part of the game, and that is essentially the Ragnarok phase. Now, during the Ragnarok phase, what you're going to do is you're going to roll one of the Battleborn dice and a d12. Now, throughout the board, there are various symbols with a number next to it. So you roll the dice, and that's going to give you the coordinates where something happens. Now, there's really kind of three things of increasing severity that happen in this game. First thing is the dragon. Dragon is going to come. He's going to try to raid resources from a region. If there's an army there, he's going to attack them. He's very dangerous. The second thing that can happen is a natural disaster. Some kind of a natural disaster can happen in the game at various points, and if a natural disaster happens, then you place a natural disaster token there. Units cannot move into or out of that space that turn. The third thing is an Undead Uprising. There's also a fifth faction in the game, the Undead, but this is an NPC. And there's going to be kind of these deserts on the board where the NPCs live, the Undead live. But during the Undead Uprising, they could pop up anywhere depending on the Battleborn die you roll and the D12 that you roll. So that's pretty scary too. Now each of these things, as the game progresses, gets increasingly worse and worse. The game lasts a total of 9 rounds before Ragnarok blows up this mythical world, and whoever has the most points by that point wins. So that is just a very, very brief and bare overview of the rules of Battleborn Legacy. This is a very interesting game. It's a light war game, light area control game. I got to tell you, these are some of my favorite kinds of games. This game reminds me a lot of games like Conquest of Nerath, of War Party, but it's not the same game. Please don't misunderstand me. It's a very different, unique game. The way the rune blessings work and the way the Ragnarok things work are very unique. The way you're creating armies and doing diplomacy is also very unique in this game as well. There's a lot of fun and unique mechanics here, and that is kind of married to this traditional kind of fantasy light war game area control game. So let's just go ahead and give you a little bit of background about how this game came to be. One of the designers, Bartlett, he had a twin brother, and he and his twin brother, Derek, for years they would play D&D. They'd play all sorts of games together through high school and college, and they had just a lot of fun playing these kinds of games, like a lot of us do. Well, as they're playing these games, Derek, his character name in a lot of the D&D games and similar games was Toback Battleborn. And Toback is actually one of the heroes in this game, and of course Battleborn is the name of the game. Well, about 5 years or so ago, Derek got very sick and he passed away. And Eric, knowing that they had always talked about putting a game together or writing novels, fantasy novels together, he went ahead and he created this game. And this is why it is called Battleborn Legacy. It's a tribute to his brother, and what a great tribute to someone you love and you care about, to actually make a game for them and give the game, their name, be it a fantasy name, but still it's their name. And this is a really cool aspect of this game. Now, Battleborn Legacy is probably going to be on Kickstarter sometime in early 2015. We will certainly put some links to it on our Facebook page, on the Discriminating Gamer Facebook page. So you're going to want to watch for this. Now, I'm not going to give any kind of a recommendation. This is a paid preview, as I say. But let me just say this: this is a fun game. I really enjoyed playing the prototype. I'm looking forward to the finished product. And I should point out, all of the stuff you're seeing in this game, all the photographs, they are the prototype. This is not the finished product, but the prototype looked great. So I'm really super excited to see what the finished product looks like. So with that in mind, you're definitely going to want to check this out when it hits Kickstarter. Battleborn Legacy! For joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. Please leave a comment here on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on Facebook, on thediscriminatinggamer.com. And please, please, please like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. We are The Discriminating Gamer, and one to beam up. I swear it happened one time.
Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going. Somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band. God knows that I love the
See? This can attack Cody.